Hello everyone, this is JPL, and today I'm joined with...
Christopher.
Yes, it's raining.
Enjoy your ambience.
Ambiance is raining. I had the car on.
It's raining harder.
Yeah, so if you hear that...
Here.
Sorry.
Take this, okay? Our other choice was to record inside the building where there's a lot of people. That's worse, okay? I mean, think about it.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to hear each other well, which is the main issue.
And then
they would hear us fine, actually.
They actually do?
They would actually hear us fine.
Okay.
Because it was kind of the same thing like last year.
I mean, I didn't listen to any episodes,
It sounded fine.
Okay, good.
I think.
You think?
I mean, it sounded fine.
I might not think so.
I think.
You think so?
I think. From my personal opinion, our audio was fine last season. But anyway, Christopher.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm tired. We had Thursday and Friday off.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this. I prefer the end of the week off than the beginning of the week. Why? Because at the beginning of the week, you've kind of been mentally preparing yourself. Oh, start of the week. But at the end of the week,
It's
if you get Friday off, it's it's just another Saturday.
Yeah.
You get 2 Saturday, and I basically, we have Thursday and Friday off, so I practically texted my friend on Thursday, hey, are we going to church tomorrow? He's like, bro, it's Thursday. So,
yeah.
how was your break?
It was fine. I mean, I was busy working on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go.
How's the show coming along?
It's going fine.
Okay.
It's nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in that show?
I'm doing sound. I press a button and music plays.
Do you have to, is there any hand slaps that you have to coordinate?
No, the actors do the hand slaps.
Oh, they actually do?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do it themselves.
Nice.
They hit someone and hit themselves at the same time.
Really?
That's how they do it. You punch like that. And they do it in a way that audience doesn't see it.
Impressive, actually. I didn't know that.
It's pretty neat. It's fun. So yeah, it's been fine, doing that.
Yeah. I've been sometimes just being lazy and sometimes doing work, but I'm trying to get ahead, and this is the most ahead I've been in years, because I usually don't like working ahead.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that I'm this far, I think is a good sign. There are a couple assignments where they are due in a couple days I haven't really done yet, but there are some other assignments that are due in advance that I'm working on.
It's been a really long time since I did something ahead of time, because I typically do it in tangent, or a little bit behind.
Yeah, I don't really like working ahead, I'll be honest. It's just you get so stressed about being ahead that it basically just replaces the stress of just trying to do things on time, in a way. In a weird way.
Yeah. Also, whenever I think, oh, I can do this ahead, when I'm doing it, it's I don't really want to do this. Oh, I got some time. I'm ahead. And then you're behind. It's okay.
Yeah. I there are some pros to working ahead. For me, next week's my intensive. I think we can still meet, because we're meeting on Monday, so.
Sure.
But my intensive starts next week. And so that's the only reason why I am working ahead. It's just because with, the last intensive, I was kind of saying, intensive's not bad. It's not really that much work. But when you have a freaking 2-week intensive with a exam at the end, and you're juggling 4 other classes, that gets a little rough. So this semester, I'm trying to be a little better about it. So I'm trying to work ahead a bit. But I don't know, man. I have something due on Wednesday. I haven't started yet. I should have, but I didn't. I'll work on it tomorrow because today's my busiest day. I can't do it. And then Thursday, I have at least 2 school projects going on. And then I have another school project I have to shoot also sometime this week that I haven't been able to coordinate yet. So life's going pretty amazing so far. I don't know, man. I'm kind of this week isn't even intensive weekend. It's going to be a busy week, so it's going to be a little bit crazy.
Yeah. So
yes,
we got an interesting new viewer for the podcast listener.
Like, you know who it is?
Yes.
Who's this interesting new viewer?
It's a faculty member.
Uh-oh. Is this good or bad?
It's good, because this is a nice guy. It's the man.
I don't know who the man
I
is.
think it's our sound guy.
Okay.
Everybody, hey, how you doing?
I don't know who you are, but hi.
Yes. And so, like, he works in the booth with us during the show.
So how do you start listening? How do you know you started listening?
I mean, because, like, he says, so, John. So I hear you have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, who told you? Because, like, I don't know who told him.
Yeah.
Because, like, not a lot of people here know about it.
Yeah.
I don't talk about it. I don't really advertise it much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know who told him. He's not telling me. But, he's like, so you have a podcast. It's like, oh, it's this name. Your co-host is this guy. I'm like, oh my, he does know. And so I'm like, oh, I've only listened to like a couple episodes here and there. And so
the fact that he even listened to a couple episodes, they're freaking an hour long. All we do is ramble. And the fact that he's still listening, that's kind of mind-blowing, I'm not going to lie.
Of course, he's a nice guy.
Good.
And so I think he kind of wants to be on the show. So I might get him as a host, I guess.
Okay.
Host.
Yeah. Like strap him in the car, put him in the back seat.
I don't know about the car because
okay.
It had to be more social distancely, like on our Skype.
Okay.
But yeah, he's definitely like a nice person to have a conversation with.
Okay. That's cool.
You can talk a lot. Rain. You're too loud.
Yay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There might be a few questions I'd be curious to ask. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that'd be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, gonna schedule something with him.
But
like I said, shoot me an email. You don't get it. But anyway. What are we gonna talk about now? It's raining.
So, one of my classes is an editing theory class. That's what it's called, editing theory.
Mm-hmm. Let's speak up a bit more.
Okay. Sorry. Editing theory, and so I had to watch stuff for the class.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really watch stuff first off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really watch stuff. But this class I had to watch something and critique the editing.
So what are you watching?
So every week it's like a different genre. So first off, here's the kicker.
Okay.
I have to watch something I've never seen before.
Okay.
Which, for me, that kind of works out.
That's a lot of things you haven't seen before.
Yeah. But for other people, that might be a little harder. You think about it.
Sure, yeah.
So other people are like, oh my gosh, I have to try to find something. I'm just like, haha, I'm just going to watch a classic.
Does it have to be something you've never seen before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for me that works out perfectly.
So what are you going to be seeing?
So the first week the genre was documentary.
Ooh.
So I watched March of the Penguins 2.
The second one? You watched the second one?
I had I've seen the first one.
Oh, my.
So I'm like, well, because there's a movie a lot of people have been talking about called American Gospel. I want to see it, but it's not on Netflix anymore. So I'm like, well, screw that. So I went on Hulu because I have Hulu because I pay for Spotify.
Yeah.
And I saw March of Penguins 2 and like, this is probably not going to be amazing, but it's something.
Sure, yeah.
And it's not going to be anything on the edgy side, right?
Sure.
So,
edgy penguins?
Yeah, just edgy penguins. So, and I was kind of right. Like, if you've seen the first one and if you were impacted by that story, the second one's not really going to do justice.
I mean, what more can you do with penguins?
Yeah.
Marching.
Well, but here's another thing. I'm thinking, like, if you just want a more penguin fetish, perfect movie for you.
Sure, yeah.
Second week was... So, actually, it said multi-camera studio sitcom. And I only saw multi-camera sitcom, so I did not catch the studio part. So, shucks on me.
A studio sitcom is like the same as a sitcom, isn't it?
No.
Oh, no. It's like one of those TV sitcoms.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the example Professor played in class was like Prince of Bel-Air. I know Friends is another multi-camera studio sitcom. But I chose, because I didn't see studio. I just saw multi-camera sitcom, right?
Okay.
So I chose Seinfeld.
That works.
Which I was looking like a couple days ago. I found out it's a part studio sitcom. So, so I told the professor I found out this is not really a studio. So if you want me to redo it, I will. But I saw Seinfeld.
Okay.
And it's kind of enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of like the first episode. Usually pilots are pretty rough, right?
Oh yeah,
But second episode, there were a few parts where I was laughing out loud. Like, cool. So I finished the first season. I don't know if and when I'm gonna start the second season.
Sure, yeah.
But it was pretty enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie. So the third week was action adventure. So, and I was telling a friend, you know what? I'd rather check out Marvel than Star Wars.
Okay.
How do you feel about that statement?
For action adventure?
Well, no, just in general. Like, if I'm like, not because of the, obviously I chose the thing I did because it was action adventure, but just in general, like personal interest, you know what I mean?
I mean, knowing you, that's probably the better bet because Marvel is more within our own world.
Yeah.
See, well, Star Wars is you have to experience like a whole another world to experience it.
Yeah.
So I can get that.
Yeah. I think also I think that's a really good point because there's more that modern edge to Marvel. So I think that also kind of appeals to me. But also I was kind of thinking like Star Wars fans, like that really shouldn't be on my mind, but it is. I mean, think about it. If you like music, but if you've ever encountered a BTS fan, you don't really want to check out BTS, you know what I mean?
Sure, okay.
So it's kind of like that, where it's like, I just feel like, and it's not to say those type of Marvel fans don't exist, but I feel like there are more of those type of fans of Star Wars. It just feels more like a cult, and it's more confusing, and especially if you're considering the last trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm really like, if you guys don't even like that, then really, what's the point? I'm kind of thinking, you know what I mean?
I get that.
So I'm like, and then it just seems like they're just trying to rewrite their stories or retrace things, or just like nothing. This stuff's not as consistent as Marvel. So I'm like, if I'm to get involved with something, I'd do something that seems a little more streamlined.
Sure.
In the end, with Marvel, yeah, you might have to watch the movies, quote, out of order.
Sure.
At least in terms of release. But really, it seems like the only other thing you have to watch is WandaVision. You know what I mean? In terms of, like, that's not the movies.
Yeah,
right?
but, yeah, except WandaVision heavily relies on you knowing the movies.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, it's not like Star Wars where there's like 3 different TV series that I have to watch in addition to the movies that don't even make sense in the first place. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I just feel like Marvel, it was probably unintentional, but it seems a little more streamlined. So I watched Iron Man.
Ooh, interesting.
Because I'm like, that's the first one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's, I guess looking at the list, it's not technically the first one in the...
it is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The chronological?
Yeah, of the MCU, it's the first one.
Really? Because on Disney Plus, it had like some Captain America movie first. Looking at it.
Oh, no. So...
It was the first one released, but I don't know if it's chronologically first.
I mean... Yeah, chronologically, it's not the first. However, I'd still say start with that first.
Yeah.
Because release order just really works better with Marvel because one influences the other.
That makes sense. Because I was looking at it and like Captain Marvel is like the second one. Like, I was thinking like I don't think I want to watch that next because that is so recent, and I feel like it just affects things
it's definitely
too much.
also one of those things where it's like a lot of Captain Marvel works with things that came before.
Yeah.
So you have your Samuel L. Jackson character, who's young in that movie, but he's like much older in the other movies. If you don't really know about him in the other movies, it's like, why do you care about him being young here? So there's that.
Does Captain Marvel release between the Endgame and Infinity?
Yes.
Okay. So I remember when was it Infinity War? Is that what it's called, right?
Yep.
I remember when that released, and there was like so much hype about that. So I remember like reading like a lot of articles related to that. So that was interesting. Anyways, but yeah. So I think for Iron Man, anyways, I keep going on like random tangents because I remember in LA, because it's LA, right? So there are a bunch of billboards. They do a lot of advertising in LA. So I remember when Iron Man released, there were a lot of advertisements, and therefore I was honestly a little curious.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what Marvel was or is, was at that time, but like it was a very heavily advertised movie, and it seemed like a lot of people had a lot of interest in it, and obviously none of us really foresaw what the effect that the MCU had upon cinematics, right? I don't even think the people who made it at the time even realized it themselves. But all it was at that moment was a standalone movie that, you know, that just had a lot of promo. So
it was a standalone movie that had an end credit scene that showed potential for something more.
Well, not just that, even before the end credit scene, the fact when he just ends it with "I am Iron Man" and everyone gasps, and you know that there's more in the story that could be told.
Sure, yeah.
So, but obviously I didn't know at the time, right? I didn't see the movie then.
Yeah.
I saw it last Friday morning at 4 a.m.
So. And so, what do you have next?
Well, first off, like, I don't think Iron Man is that bad of a movie. I think,
it's a really good movie still.
Like, the character change, I think, is the most interesting thing about it. You know?
Yeah.
Obviously, that kind of, in the end, sells a good story, I guess. A change of heart.
Sure, yeah.
But, like, the story is pretty fine. I would say, I was looking into things and, like, how, like, it basically wasn't like heavily scripted, and how the actors ad-libbed a lot of lines, basically, and I thought that was really interesting. So I think it kind of shows a little bit. So that's why I submitted last night, but I started watching the next two things. I think the next one, forget the order. I think the next one is Drama.
Okay.
So
Drama. Lost.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was talking to some friends, and I'm like, what should I do? And they're like, well, Lost. I'm like, well, fine. So.
Interesting choice for drama.
Yeah, I didn't really pick it.
Yeah, because Lost is... There's drama in it, but I
would think it would kind of classify as action-adventure, but at the same time...
It's more like a mystery.
Mystery.
Yeah.
But a mystery causes drama.
Like, it's a mystery drama is what it is.
So, in the end, like, both even action adventure and drama, like, both of those terms can be very ambiguous. You can interpret it in many different ways.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that there would be a wrong answer, that a professor would be like, hey, that's not really drama-like. But in the end, there are drama aspects. I mean, I bet maybe even Iron Man could be considered a drama if you really wanted to go so far. You know what I mean?
Sure,
but I'm
yeah.
like, well, it classifies more as action-adventure, like, looking at him. So that's why I did. So, yeah, I watched the two-part pilot intro thing for Lost. It's interesting. I think the most intriguing part, I guess, obviously, for me, is the Korean couple.
Oh, yeah, they're a really good part of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them so much.
So, and then obviously the pilot had to end on the cliffhanger about the radio that was sitting there for like 16 years or something. So that's kind of intriguing. I actually today rewatched the second episode because the first episode's kind of more on the visual side. But because I have to analyze editing, when you're watching it the first time, you're less critical. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, you have to watch or read something multiple times in the art form. Because the first time you have to experience it, the second time you have to pick it apart more.
Yeah, because like this class, I have to like analyze the editing, and it's really difficult because sometimes you can get kind of lost in the whole critiquing the cinematography.
You can get lost.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like sometimes you confuse the editing with the cinematography.
Sure,
and that gets confusing. But like a lot of what I have to talk about are the shots actually, and so in the end, like you can film like a bunch of different shots of the same thing. You know, close up, wide shot. So like in the end, you can argue that shot choices are a cinematography thing, but you can also argue it's an editing choice as well. So
sure, yeah.
That is a lot of what I do talk about, but I also try to talk about pacing. And the next genre is a single camera sitcom.
Oh,
there's not too many of those.
Those would have to be like much older shows then.
Well, I found something modern.
Okay.
The Mindy Project.
Never heard of it.
It's the one of the ladies from The Office. That's her sitcom.
Okay.
I think the Indian lady from The Office. I don't know if she is Indian.
I don't watch The Office.
Okay. I think maybe Indian, black. I don't know. I don't know a lot about The Office. But I was doing some research and I found out that's a single camera sitcom. And since even though I don't know a lot about The Office, I'm like, oh, I know the lady, right? So I'm like, I might as well give it a shot. I wasn't really crazy about it, honestly.
No.
Just like the I'll say about like, because I have to analyze the editing. The editing's interesting because it is single camera, right? So they only have one camera recording everything, and they try to portray it as a comedy. So the dialogue's very quick and fast, basically. You record one line and another line, and then you chop it together, and the dialogue just kind of happens really quickly. So like, and which is kind of important for a comedy, right?
Yeah.
You're just like spitting out lines. So I thought that was really interesting in terms of the editing side, but the story didn't really gravitate towards me. Like looking at Wikipedia, one of the genres it was listed as was cringe comedy, and that is kind of part of what it is. And it's not really my thing. I'm just like, I want to laugh, I want to have a good time, not be like, oh my gosh, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Why? Like the opening scene is basically her like at her ex's wedding, and so she says something. You know, she goes up to the microphone and says crap, and I'm just like, why? It just doesn't really. I don't really like those type of things.
It doesn't really speak to us as an audience.
Yeah, I'm just like, you're. It's like an awkward sitcom. You know what I mean? One of those type of things. I'm just like, are there elements of it that's interesting? Yeah, but not enough where I'm just like, I'd rather watch Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So
I
have other genres, but I haven't gotten to those yet.
So like, do you know what they are? Like, what your next upcoming?
So I think the next one after that is like personal story / testimony, and like, so what am I supposed to do for that? So I'm gonna ask my professor because I'm trying to work ahead in this. Because
personal stories.
Because I'm like,
so is it like a documentary personal story or like a recreation?
I really don't know. So that I'm gonna ask my professor because that I think is that's the weirdest genre yet on the list, right? And so I'm basically gonna ask the professor like, so are you expecting us to watch like I'm Second, just like a video on YouTube, or like you want us to like, because even for someone who hasn't seen a lot, that's hard to find. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna ask the professor. I think. Well, I have 2 classes for today, but maybe tomorrow. Because I don't think I'm gonna watch it tonight, even though I found out today. But so maybe tomorrow.
And then, do you know what else is coming?
I have to do a talk show.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I've seen clips of like a lot of things, but there's one recent talk show that's appeared at the Drew Barrymore show.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I've never seen that, so I might as well do that. Have I seen a full episode of Jimmy Fallon? No. But have I seen a lot of clips of it on YouTube? Yes. That probably says I've seen it. You know what I mean? I can't. I have a couple other genres I cannot remember, but there's the last one actually is like commercials. That one's also really ambiguous because what the rule is like you have to watch a movie or like 2 episodes of a TV show, and so obviously you can't do that for commercials or probably even the personal testimony thing. So that's why the commercials are the last thing anyway, so probably get more instructions with that when we're closer to that.
Yeah.
But the personal testimony thing, I kind of want to ask because that is due the second week of my intensive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of want to at least watch it now.
Yeah.
And then, so... Yeah, I think there's probably one or two other genres I cannot remember. But, yeah, so I'm watching crap.
Sure. I think the thing I'm most surprised about is Lost.
Uh-huh.
Like, I never would have pegged you to, like, watch Lost. Like, just maybe just the first episode, even. Because it's like... I don't know, it's just... not really up your alley, because...
I would kind of agree with that, where it's like, it's not something I would have thought of, but like my dorm mates were like, you should watch Lost. So I'm like, fine, I'll watch Lost, because I don't know what else to watch, really.
I mean, Lost is a good show, but because I understand you're not really much of a movie or show watcher,
yeah,
it's like, it's not my first recommendation for you.
Yeah. Out of all of these, I'll be honest, I want to see Iron Man 2 just because of the ending of the first one, right?
Iron Man 2. Okay.
What?
No, just...
What? Not that great.
I mean...
That's any sequel.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, out of all these, I'd rather be watching Seinfeld.
Yeah, I get that. Or Veggie Tales, who knows?
Honestly, I've been watching South Park.
Yeah.
So, that's why I've been watching.
Yeah. Next week, my parents are coming.
Okay.
So, that's cool.
So, are we going to record next week?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
We're recording. I'm just saying that they're...
Okay. So, how long are they staying?
Roughly 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Maybe more, depending on visa situation.
Okay, so it's based on...
I mean, one, it's like, my dad's coming up here to do some tax stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there are visa things coming up.
Mm-hmm. So is this your first time basically seeing your dad in a year? Or
no,
longer?
my dad came in the summer.
Okay.
Of last year.
Okay.
So...
Right, now I remember.
Yeah.
How long did he stay again?
A few months.
A few months, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Got any plans with them, or not really because of school?
I mean, school is the main thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
if we're doing anything with this weather. I would like to go and see the D-Day Memorial in Bedford.
Okay.
I've never been, so
yeah,
I want to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry. I just have to ask. Do you like Lost?
I do, yes.
I mean, you finished it, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I watched it as a kid.
I guess maybe the ending, I've heard mixed opinions, but I mean, just in general, the show in general.
I like the show, yeah.
Okay. Because what is it like that? Because here's the thing, because I've heard about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, for example, Seinfeld, Lost, these are, memes I've heard thrown around.
Yeah.
Obviously, a single camera sitcom, there's not too many of those, right? And especially on Hulu, right? I was looking for stuff on Hulu because that's what I have,
yeah.
right? With Netflix, I was borrowing someone else's account. And wasn't there
yeah.
anyways. So, I was just looking for stuff on Hulu. So, there's only, 2 on Hulu, as far as I saw. So, I picked the one that I'm somewhat most familiar with.
Yeah.
But I did right. Lost is on Hulu. But no, so I picked someone also did recommend Seinfeld to me, right?
Yeah.
I'm I have to watch a sitcom. He's like, do Seinfeld, just do it. I'm like, fine, it's on Hulu, I'm good, you know? Because I was looking on Hulu, none of them were really popping out, and I didn't really want to do Seinfeld because sometimes what we were talking about Marvel, you know, I feel a little more, it's a little easier because it's more set in the modern day.
Yeah.
I thought Seinfeld was much older, but it's just 90s, so I was like, that's not too bad. But still, the older didn't appeal to me as much on the first glance of it.
Yeah.
A friend was like, just watch it, so I did. And so yeah, again, just Lost, that's something I've heard of. honestly, I got it confused with Survivor. Oh yeah, that's one thing I have to do, a reality show.
Okay.
So I was looking, and I'm probably gonna watch something Gordon Ramsay. I'm just like, Gordon Ramsay's such a character.
Yeah, but like, there's gonna be a lot of swearing to deal with.
Yeah, that's what you'd expect from a Gordon Ramsay show.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
he's fun.
Prepared.
If you're doing Gordon Ramsay, like, which one are you looking at?
I don't know. There's like 5 of his shows on Hulu. So
the main one that he does, like Hell's Kitchen, is free on Peacock.
I forgot my Peacock password, so I had to try to.
It's free, so it's
true.
That's one thing that can help you. Like, Office is on Peacock for like first season free, so you can find a couple things there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually forgot my password because I was trying to log in like yesterday, like crud. Why can't crud?
Just change your password.
Man. I will, but I'm like, since I wasn't in a rush to like watch anything.
No, I get you.
I'm like, So I have a question. Do you like Parks and Rec?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Is it on Peacock or Hulu?
It's on Peacock.
Okay. So it went from Hulu to Peacock, I guess.
I mean, it could still be on Hulu, but it's mainly on Peacock.
That makes sense. Okay. I was just curious. Also, I heard Seinfeld's moving to Netflix. So
I don't know about that.
Well, a couple of years ago, they announced that like it's going to Netflix in 2021.
Okay.
And what they did is they rescanned because they shot on film, so they rescanned it in like 4K or HD or something. So it's going to be in HD on Netflix.
Sure.
So,
I mean, Netflix needs something because like they're losing all their shows.
Yeah.
And films at this point.
That is really interesting. I know we've talked about the streaming thing before.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's so many services. Like, especially in the last couple of years, we've had Disney Plus.
Like in just 2 years.
Yeah.
We got Peacock, we got Disney, we got HBO Max, Discovery Plus.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, each of them kind of have their pros, like HBO with their movies. Like, obviously, people are going to be like,
their shows, of course.
Yeah, obviously. But I mean, like, you know, if you wanted to see Wonder Woman, the second thing, it's like, oh, you had to get HBO to watch it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like, or you couldn't see it.
Or just go to a theater.
Did it play? Oh, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It was Disney that didn't play in theater, right?
No, it was Disney.
Right. Yeah. But then also, yeah, you got Disney because, you know, it's freaking Disney. So people want Disney. And then, you know, there's so many pros. Now, The Office is only on Peacock. So if you want The Office, you have to get Peacock. You know, it's like, it's so interesting, like, watching. And then the complete contrast is music, where, like, basically every album's on both Spotify and Apple Music.
Yeah.
And pick your service. Like, there are a few exceptions here and there. But for the most part, you can get everything on one platform. You don't have to be juggling around different platforms. You know what I mean? It's so interesting. I hope music stays the way it is. Like, they do have a few exclusive things here and there, but it's not so drastic where it's like you have to be bouncing around different services. So it makes me wonder, like, one day, are we going to see these services combine or not?
Oh. Combine music and shows?
No. I'm saying the movie shows thing. Like, are they going to combine or not? Because...
What do you mean?
Because there's a lot of things where it just seems like they're trying to unify a lot of things. Mm. And it's... That's why I find this whole Netflix streaming thing so interesting, because it's like the complete opposite of everything else. You know what?
Yeah.
Like, everything else seems to be unifying, trying to become one. For example, like your smartphone, there's everything on it, right?
Yeah.
Before you had to buy a calculator if you wanted a calculator and pick your whatever. You know what? Like a Game Boy to play your games. But now you have a calculator on your phone.
You had to get cable to watch certain shows.
Yeah. But so, like, there's just a lot of unification going on in terms of like a lot of things, except for movie/TV streaming, where it seems like the divide is getting larger, and so like the future of that is going to be very interesting.
I think like a streaming service that I don't know I think exists yet is for like sports events, and just watching
ESPN Plus.
I don't know if they have like all the sports events that I want.
That makes sense.
I haven't checked them out, but for the first glance, it's mainly just their talks about sports instead of like actually watching live. I can watch this soccer game or this baseball game from all these different channels. Like,
do you have the bundle from Disney Plus?
I do not know.
No, you don't know.
I'm sorry, I do not. I do not. Come on, no.
Okay. Because do you have Hulu?
I do.
Because I'm just wondering, would you be saving money if you combine it and then you get ESPN Plus on top of it? Wait, what type of Hulu do you have? Do you have the ad-supported Hulu?
Yeah, it's ad-supported Hulu, but it's like Black Christmas, $2 a month Hulu.
Oh, okay. So how long does that last?
A year.
A year. Okay, well then, never mind.
Yeah. Like, I ain't changing that deal. That's a really good deal.
That is a good deal. Yeah. Yeah, I only have Hulu because I have Spotify.
Of course.
So, which works out for this class. So.
Which, after you graduate.
So, this is the interesting thing about what I found out. So, basically, every year you have to, confirm that you're still a student. Every, basically, 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't know that until, I was looking at, my bank account. And I'm I look at Spotify, wait, $10? It's $5. And I got really upset, and I looked into it, and Spotify's in the fine print, you have to confirm, every year. And so I looked into my email, and I got one email, either 90 or 30 days before the thing expired.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm come on, this is something I'd get at least 2 emails of. So, but I completely missed the email. I'm kind of bad with emails anyways. But,
sure.
So then I reconfirmed I'm still a student. So basically, I will still have this deal through December or January.
Okay.
So, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, still kind of sucks the fact that I have to do that. But yeah, so I'll have Hulu and Showtime, but I've never really used Showtime. I didn't really find anything interesting.
No.
So.
So, the thing that I wanted to talk about last week,
Okay.
but I couldn't because I forgot about it,
Yeah.
is...
Well, I figured the movies would be interesting for you, so... Anyways, go on.
One of my friends,
Yes.
one of my other hosts.
When you're... What?
One of my older hosts,
What do you mean host?
From,
Oh.
Yeah, one of my older hosts.
I was thinking like home hosts for a hot second. What?
Yeah, one of my older friend peoples.
Yes.
Recently, got some popularity.
Okay.
So he'd been doing some YouTube stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not a whole lot constantly.
Yeah.
Only had 32 subscribers. And so one day, he made a comment on some big person's video, being a part of a chain.
Uh-huh.
One of those chain comments. And so the creator is I'm gonna find out who started this chain. And on a video, he announced it was my friend. It wasn't though. But he had this whole video talking about my friend, about stuff, going through his channel, looking at stuff. So now my friend is at roughly 46,000 subscribers.
Just like that.
Just like that. Just overnight, it was at 26. It was a lot.
Wow.
And so now my friend once a week will be streaming, trying to do a video.
Yeah.
And so that's nice.
That's good for him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It is really crazy though. Sometimes you kind of sit there and you kind of just wish something like that would happen to you. You know what I mean? I kind of look at it's either you grind or you're
just very lucky.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
And so I know you're kind of in a weird position, but I guess I would kind of
I'm in a weird position.
Interrogate you a little bit about it. But I'm just looking at me where I've kind of been grinding a little bit, where I've seen some other people that I'm familiar with or in similar circles or whatever who have had a little bit of greater success, where I've tried to grind a little bit and I haven't seen as much. 1,000 subscribers, that's not necessarily anything to laugh at. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But that's still not the most amazing, like for example, your friend, tens of thousands.
Yeah.
True. He got it by dumb luck, but still. And so like I was thinking a little bit like TikTok, and like that is like one of the best platforms, like to really grow an audience, unlike most any other platform. But you have to grind at it, and I don't necessarily have that motivation to like grind on TikTok. I like TikTok. I had a friend who joined TikTok like I'll say 2-3 months ago. He has at least 6,000 followers on TikTok now. He's never been able to accumulate a following like that before. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like his YouTube channel, I think he's about to hit 2,000. He probably has like 2,000 on Instagram, but on TikTok he was able to make 6,000 followers in 2 or 3 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I kind of like look at it and like, well, I've kind of tried, and then I think about like I haven't been grinding. I've posted a few videos hoping that they would blow up, where it's like, but then I look at YouTube where I have grinded, and have I made choices where I know I've passed up on that could have gotten me a lot of subscribers? Yes. But at the same time, I've done some things where I know where it would get me views and subscribers. And so I'm like, YouTube's my platform where I'm choosing to grind at. And then maybe one day I could try TikTok where I have a greater YouTube following. I could probably transfer them there. And then TikTok would kind of roll on its own because I have an audience now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it's like I'm going to focus on YouTube where I kind of feel more like, where I feel like I'm benefiting more. I have a little bit of an audience there, but the issue is reactions are just so weird because, I have 1,000 subscribers, but not all that 1,000 is interested in every single video I'm gonna do. While compared to PewDiePie, maybe not the best example because I don't think his ratio is that amazing. But having like, there are people who subscribe to PewDiePie because of his personality.
Yeah.
And they enjoy his personality, so they'll watch every single video he does.
Mm-hmm.
While for me, I'm not necessarily, I want to, but I haven't because of school. But I would prefer to market myself as a personality, but instead I've been doing it as a reactor, so therefore I don't necessarily have a personality that people are looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to adjust that. I would still like to do some reactions because that's the best way to gain an audience.
Sure.
But personal videos are the way to retain an audience. So, I mean, so how do you feel like, because you're kind of, I guess to say, in limbo.
In the limbo?
Yeah, so it's like, how are you like looking at like content creation right now? I'm just curious. I mean, like looking at your friends, I mean, even looking at me where I've basically had more success than you in terms of subscribers, in terms of time. Like, how do you feel like looking at all this and how you want to approach things in the future? I'm just really curious.
I think it's an interesting thing to say, mainly because now I don't really care anymore.
Okay.
I've kind of outgrown YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really think it's going to be a sustainable thing for me to even do.
Mm-hmm.
As much as, I had fun doing it, it's not really something I really cared for. But, like, let's say 2 or 3 years ago, I would care more. I'd be like, I'm happy for you, but it's like, still, I've been like doing this thing for like how long?
Yeah.
Haven't seen any growth.
Yeah.
Where my friend,
dumb luck,
like only has about maybe 10, 20 videos released within the past 10 years,
mm-hmm.
sporadically, and like they're just whenever he does a project,
mm-hmm.
he uploads them there.
Mm-hmm.
It's now he has so many subscribers, but for that, like, I'm more excited for him because it means he'll be doing more content,
mm-hmm.
and I like his content,
mm-hmm.
and so I just want to see more from him.
Mm-hmm.
So
how did you like know about this? Did he tell you, or did he do a video on it?
Well, I found out like I'm part of like this Facebook group related to a topic,
mm-hmm.
and so they posted a thing. It's like, hey, it's this person here, and of course it was my friend that was tagged. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I click on the video it's linked to, and that's like this whole thing. And it's
mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh. I go to his channel. It's like, oh my gosh. And so he made a video like after all of this thing happened, titled 32 subscriber special. As a joke.
Yeah.
It's like, he was just saying in the video, it's like, starting out, I had this thing where it's like, I would just refresh my page every time just to see if the number would go up. It's like, to celebrate 32, I'm going to do this one last time. He does it, and like it changes, like, what the heck? And it just ends right there. It's like, hey, I'm going to be doing new stuff. But yeah, he's doing more stuff.
Mm-hmm. I bet he has more of that motivation now.
Yeah, definitely. It's also like one more thing to add to his plate because like he didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I'm gonna try.
And now he can make money off it.
Not yet, but he will try. Yeah.
What do you mean not yet?
I mean, he hasn't been partnered yet.
Okay, well, I guess it takes a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'd be working to it.
Yeah. So like, what type of content? Like you said, streaming is like video games, I guess.
Yeah, like he's streaming video games.
Have you talked to him since, or not?
Not like through video chat. Like I texted him a few times. And stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool though. I am happy for him.
Actually, hopefully this Thursday or last Thursday for you guys. Hopefully I'm getting a podcast uploaded with him that I recorded months ago.
Okay.
But like now that he's quote unquote famous, I have to take a look at the video and just edit things that might, or things that he probably doesn't want to be said before. Because like back then it was fine,
Yeah, but now
it's like, oh, okay, now we gotta take more care.
Yeah.
And so I've been just going through it and just taking out some certain markers.
To you about YouTube though, like do you, like, for example, like our VeggieTales thing, like, is that still something you want to do?
Oh, of course it's still something I want to do.
But
it's like I just don't really feel like doing my older stuff, like constantly doing reaction videos, like doing that grind. Like it's not really a difficult grind, but it's like
it's still work. It's
time consuming, and it's like I'm not really into it a lot of the time. So,
so like, what is like the stuff you want to do now, besides like the podcast and VeggieTales reactions, or is that pretty much it?
I mean, right now that's pretty much it. I don't really want to do anything.
Yeah,
because it's like I'd rather focus on my own personal career. Like, if I could get a job like CJ with his thing, I'm not gonna say on the podcast, but his thing, which is
he getting paid for it?
I don't know. I would think so.
We don't know.
Like, the only thing I know is that he signed an NDA and he can't talk to me about anything. But I'm so excited because, like, he's just,
I know.
Anyway.
Maybe you should move to Florida. Meet some people.
It's not Florida. It's not Florida.
Well, I'm just saying CJ lives in Florida.
So?
Keep my trap shut.
What does that have to do with this thing that he's doing through Zoom?
But he knew someone because he lives in Florida?
No, like, the other person is, like, a student here.
Oh, really?
I know that person as well.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that.
So, like, when they were telling me this, like, the other person, they're like, oh, I work on this thing. I didn't believe them. Because it's like, oh, I thought they were joking. Because, like, it's a big deal, this thing they're working on. But then, I heard, like, CJ talking about it. I'm like, I had the question, was like, I can't tell if you're serious. I'm like, oh, no, I'm serious. It's like, no way, that's so big. I'm not going to say it, but that's so big.
Yeah, let's keep our trap shut now about it.
Yeah, let's not get him in trouble.
Yeah.
I just took a sip of water.
So, is there anything you're watching right now? Or are you more focused on school?
Because, like, I'm working on the show, it takes a lot of my time.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really been doing anything. The only thing I had really been watching is just some documentaries.
Like, March of Penguins 3?
No,
I'm kidding.
Some World War II stuff. Just 'cause.
Okay. Oh, So you were talking about career. Like, is there things you're trying to do right now, or you're kind of just waiting till like in a semester or two when you're closer to graduation?
I mean, it really depends on like what it is and like how long it would last. Because it's like, if it's during our school time, I can't do it.
Right.
But it's like, I don't know. If there's something that I can do during the summer, if there's like these auditions, maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
So, yeah, I was kind of curious because, so I applied for an internship. And I was hoping I would get it, and I didn't get it. I found out Friday.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. I've just been trying not to think about it too much. But basically, after my intensive, basically mid-March, I'm going to start applying for jobs.
Okay.
Because I was first kind of like, I wanted to see where this would pan out, because this was an internship that would kind of transition into a job. So I was like really hoping and looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And I really liked what they were doing, but that's not going to happen now. Again, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But I was also, so I knew I would know by the end of February. And plus, I didn't want to start like applying for jobs in like January, and I hear back in like 2 weeks, like, hey, can you like come by the end of the month? Like, no, I'm in the middle of semester. Hopefully now, because like at least mid-March, I'd be like, hey, I'm almost done with school compared to like in the middle of January. You know what I mean? So I feel like the timing is just a little better at this point. Now I bet some people would start to say you should start applying now. Here's the thing. Thursday I have 2 video shoots going on.
Sure, yeah.
I have another video shoot this week. Next week I have a 2-week intensive. Okay, I can't do it this week. I'm pretty stressed right now.
Yeah.
So after the intensive, I'm really hoping things die down, and that things would be a little more manageable, especially no longer having the looming stress of an intensive. So I'm really hoping things would be better, that I'd be able to start applying.
Yeah.
Because also I'm kind of thinking, I'm just really restless right now. I hate moving, but right now with the restless state I'm in, I want to fly, you know?
Yeah.
So I could get my job back at Domino's, which is Indian Plan C, right?
Sure.
And I'm really thankful that I will be employed, period, right?
Yeah.
The fact that like if I can't get any job in my field right away, I have a job at Domino's. But again, like I'm just feeling really anxious right now, and so I'd rather get out, right, and go to wherever I need to go. But yeah, so we'll see. Part of me kind of hopes not in Lynchburg, but I need a job. I'll take Lynchburg if I get something in Lynchburg.
Sure, yeah.
I don't hate Lynchburg. I'm just ready.
Yeah, you just don't want to live with me.
No, I do. I actually do. Because again, there's a lot of comfort with kind of like just going to Domino's and living with you. There's a lot of, just like that just seems secure and safe. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And cheap.
Yeah.
On both ends. But in the end, I feel like it's just going to be better if I actually get something, and that's going to really propel me.
Yeah.
And motivate me. And especially if I'm in the state right now, I don't want to get to a point where I'm like 3 months into Domino's and I get a job. I'm like, oh, I have to move. You know that feeling? Right now, I'm like, I want to move. So, do you want to stay in Lynchburg or?
I mean, it really depends. Because it's like, sure, I'd like to stay in my house, but it's like, if I get a job and they are offering me like a place to be, then maybe I could do that. But we'll see. It's just case by case.
Are you looking more for theater, or are you looking for film?
Whatever.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah,
that makes sense.
Whatever. Yeah. I'd say I have more backstage experience in theater, but it's like if I do any acting, I can do either one.
I kind of feel bad for actors because theirs is very, just like you have to stay on your toes. Where at least me, I mean, I could play the freelance game, but I could still find a stable job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, actors, like, they have to work so much because, you know, they have their acting job, but they also have to do a day job as well just to pay their bills.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to re-record my lines for The Encounter for season 4.
You did?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There was, like, audio bleed in the original, so they're like, come back in. So I did. I kind of shredded my voice during it, so I haven't been drinking soda. But my main thought, though, was while I was doing it, I was thinking, like, this is fun to kind of, like, do a one-off, but I don't think this is what I want to do long-term.
Sure, yeah.
Because, like, there's a lot of effort that kind of, like, goes into it. And it can be fun, but if you don't, especially if, like, I had a little bit of trouble, like, getting into character in Chris Nelson at one point. So, all right, Christopher, just shake your hands and body as you're saying this line. I do it, like, that's perfect! It's like, but it's like, it was just a little difficult at first because I wasn't getting what he wanted.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a lot of time. We didn't have time before to prepare myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of almost conjuring a voice I've never really done on the spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, a lot of it was just very different and new.
So, like,
fresh.
I guess that's a shame because it's like, that probably means that a lot of your stuff from when you recorded, when you first got here, you won't be able to listen to.
Which, I bet they'll still hold on to the files.
Because, like, did you re-record everything that you did, or? Yeah,
the only, there was probably, like, the occasional Poppy I had to do a line for, or, like, the crowd scenes. Obviously, I think those are being kept. The Poppies, I actually don't know.
Sure.
But the crowd scenes, definitely. But the main minor character I had to play, I re-record all of those songs.
Oh, man.
So
that's gotta be...
I'm a little curious to hear the original. Like, even before hearing that I had to re-record, I'm like, because I don't remember that session at all.
Yeah, because it's like, that was like 4 years ago, man.
Yeah, it was.
It's kind of like a shame that's like your work from 4 years ago had to be redone.
It kind of
4 years later.
It kind of is, but at the same time, if they're happiest with this, then awesome.
Yeah, I get that.
And then also the kind of cool thing is that if they're like, hey, we need re-record like these 2 lines, I can go back in and hopefully it won't sound too different compared to like 4 years ago. And
which
just, like,
it really
ago.
shows you just like how far behind they are working on that series.
Yeah,
because we recorded that 4 years ago,
and which is crazy.
And like,
did they release season 3 yet?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, so they're editing.
Because like right now they're like working on season 4.
I know, like, the 2 guys editing the Encounter right now.
Caleb,
and Cameron.
Yeah, Caleb. Yeah, he's been.
Because so Cameron, that's his internship, basically editing the Encounter. So
sure.
Basically, Caleb will do the initial edit, and then Cameron will basically fix things up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's really interesting because, like, I was talking to Cameron the other day, like, this is the episode you're in. Like, what? So, I could ask him, honestly. I could probably ask Cameron and be like, hey, you actually had those old recordings? So, that'd be interesting. Kind of like to compare.
Yeah.
I'm really curious how all that would go. So, what season? You did 7?
I did 7. So, I won't.
For like 10 years.
Something like that, yeah. No, you won't be hearing me for another few years.
Yeah. So this is the part that I always get confused about. Is there going to be like a finale episode, or is it just the finale season?
It's the finale season.
Okay, so the end with this.
Yeah, it's
completely.
the end. Like, we finished the story.
Okay.
We're done.
So, that Skylar House thing, are they pursuing or not?
Scholar House?
Is it Scarlet? I thought
Scholar.
Scholar. Oh, okay, Scholar. Sorry.
I mean, maybe they're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Did you like what you saw at SonicCon?
Not really. I just think that it needs a little bit more oomph. It's just too... I don't know, it's just too... meh.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess an argument could be, it's always the pilot that's the roughest. You know what I mean? Because it's...
But they gave us 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I'll be honest. After the pilot, my brother was hungry and like, you want to go eat?
Sure.
We're going. Like, we didn't stay for the second. So...
But it's like, I don't really care enough for these characters, and also it's like a very different kind of show than The Encounter.
I'm also just thinking, like, what are they trying to accomplish with this?
Like, they said, like, they wanted to do, like, a Saved by the Bell sitcom.
Which I haven't seen, I guess.
It's like, it's a high school sitcom, pretty much. But it's like, they achieved that, but I don't really care about high school sitcoms.
I feel like there's part of them that is trying to replicate,
like they're trying to go for like a younger audience in this one.
Well, with that in mind, like in the end, with basically any audio drama, you're always going to be kind of replicating Odyssey in some format. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I could kind of see that a little bit. Like there's a little more storyline. Like Odyssey is kind of like every episode is its own thing, kind of.
Sure.
There is always an element where it kind of builds on each other, and there are sometimes story arcs. But in the end, like what they've been doing, like with The Encounter or Scholar House, it's one long story, basically.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it kind of does have that Odyssey feel, but it's uninteresting to me. I'll be honest. Like,
sure.
If I feel bad for them, it seems like they wrote a whole season. So I hope in the end there is good stuff, and I hope it finds an audience if they actually decide to pursue it. But it's not engaging for me.
Yeah, like for me, from what I saw, like the production was well done. I just was disinterested in it.
Yeah, the characters didn't appeal to me. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
Yeah, they just were.
They were just stereotype, generic characters.
I mean,
it's probably one of those things of like, oh, as the show goes on, but it's like you really need to capture them.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Yeah. Like it was kind of cool seeing some people I'm familiar doing the parts, and I'm like, especially Bailey, I'm like that's the perfect character.
Yeah,
for her.
Bailey.
But
she's good.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm just like, in the end, the characters didn't interest me. Period.
No. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say? Because if not, I'm gonna go eat lunch.
Yeah, it's about that time, so.
I feel like I talked too much, but at the same time, I had to talk about that one class because I knew you'd be interested a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
You're making me second guess everything now.
It's fine. No, it's fine. Don't do things. Anyway, it stopped raining.
It did,
which is nice.
It is nice.
Yeah.
So you don't have to walk me back.
I'm not walking you back anyway.
Or to just start raining now.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.